Welcome back, everyone, to another knife therapy episode. Today, I have something super special for you, and I want to take a quick look at my Ray Laconico Keen. The Keen is produced by Massdrop and is manufactured by We Knives. So, if you're not familiar with Massdrop is pretty much a group discount type of service where a large amount of people get on a specific item, and once that number is reached, the item is discounted at a group rate, so much cheaper than you can purchase that item for individually. But this is slightly different. Massdrop has decided to make this a production knife for them, so it is in stock on their site at all times, which is very nice. Typically on those drops, you have to wait months at a time before the knife is actually shipped to you. So there's none of that, and that is much appreciated. We Knives, if you're not familiar with them, and you should be, because they produce excellent quality knives at very good fit and finish, and they've built a very strong reputation for that. They are an overseas manufacturer and exemplify what quality manufacturing should be everywhere. This is a titanium frame lock that has been bronzed. It's running S35 VN steel. And to give you some stats before we get into everything, as always on the channel, so the overall length is 7.9 inches. It's got a handle length of 4.5 inches. It's got a blade length of 3.4 inches, and the weight is coming in at 4.4 ounces. So it's got a good weight to it. The weight is actually kind of toward the rear of the knife, if I can find it here for you. So it's about right there. So this finger is actually at the rear of the blade. So this is the balance point of the knife, which is expected because you got a titanium backspacer, titanium milled clip, so your weight is going to be further back. Speaking of the clip, it is excellently done. It's got great ramp, great retention. It's just excellent to carry. No issues with this thing whatsoever. It's very slim in the pocket. It's a pleasure to carry, to use. And when I pull this out, man, for some reason I just feel like cutting some butter, some cheese. This knife begs and has a great utility feel to it. And Ray Laconico is very known for his simplistic designs that are very functional. It does have a lanyard hole, generous enough for 550 cord or whatever you decide to put through there. It does have torque screw construction. One thing I do want to mention that not a lot of people are talking about on this knife while you're looking at the lockup is the lock bar tension is extremely light. This knife is very easy to disengage. There's absolutely no lock stick. To demonstrate that, I can disengage the lock bar from all the way back here. So the lock bar has very, very light tension, but locks up very strong. The flipper tab is well designed. This is one thing that I was concerned about when I originally got the knife. It looks kind of pointed on camera, and I guess it is kind of in real life. And so I figured that this point would cause some discomfort to my finger after repetitive flipping. That is absolutely not the case. They have perfectly rounded this. It is very comfortable. Just a pleasure to open and close. Now, one thing I will say about the flipper tab that I've noticed is that it does need a little jimping, some type of traction here, because probably 1 out of every 20 flips, my finger will slip off this flipper tab and not get a deployment. So that is one minor critique about this knife that future generations I would like to see upgraded. The titanium backspacer is very nice. Fit and finish is just great. As I've already mentioned, there's no milling on the inside of this. It's just straight slabs of titanium. The handles have been contoured. As you can see there, it's been contoured. The clip has also been contoured some. It's just great, great, great execution. And I just keep talking about it because they've hit a home run here. If you haven't ever handled one, if you haven't had a pleasure to hold Ray Laconico's work, you really need to do so. If you haven't picked up a Keen, I would highly recommend it. It is just a great everyday carry type of pocket knife. So one quick thing is also a critique to Massdrop. If you're not familiar with Massdrop, they have been criticized in the past about their shipping. And that is what I'm going to criticize for them here as well. So when I purchased this knife, I obviously did free shipping like a lot of you will select as well. And it literally took 1 full month after they sent me a shipping notification, and this thing then arrived at the house. A month, guys, for shipping is absolutely ridiculous when you're paying for pretty much a premium item. And so I feel like they need to simplify that. Also with the shipping, they sent me a tracking number through some website that never gave me updated information on the tracking. So I was kind of blind throughout the whole process. And granted, I probably could have called Massdrop and they could have possibly updated me further than what I could see through the link for the tracking, which showed me absolutely nothing. That is very possible. I didn't do that. But I would like to see them upgrade some type of tracking information as well as just better shipping overall. The centering, guys, look how perfect that is. When you get a knife that's just dead centered, no lock play in any direction, and it flips like this thing does, this is a winner. This is a knife that you can pass down generations to generations and not be afraid to use. Also, I didn't mention the very nice sharpening tool there, so that is much appreciated. Also the flat, so I'll be able to hook this up on my Wicked Edge. And while I have you here, you can see that they've done a very nice belt finish satin, but it also has a good sheen to it. So it's not your typical, like I refer to Riot. It's not that type of like very rough belt finish satin. This is very refined, very smooth. It does show fingerprints and smudges relatively easy. I'm not going to ding it for that. I much prefer the more refined finish than other belt finish satin. So that is very good. Guys, in closing, I really, really want to thank you again, as I try to do in all my videos, for tuning in and watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. And thank you so much, guys. If you hadn't checked out the Instagram, I always forget this. The Instagram's booming. We're well over 100 followers on Instagram. I try to post there every day. Also, my email, I'll try to link that down below. If you have any private questions you want to send me, do that as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you, and we will see you next week.